Welcome, the Gamer Man's Lounge. Awaken to play.
Hopefully, things are going well for you guys. As for me, I got another news video for y'all. Because a Nintendo Direct happened, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go and talk about that Nintendo Direct, and talk about the highlights of that Nintendo Direct. And of course, we're just going to go ahead and get the obvious out of the way, and go ahead and say that yes, a new Yoshi game that's going to do something crazy. And Bayonetta 3. Oh yeah, it's going to be crazy. Oh yeah, it's going to go crazy. Now, before we go ahead and talk about today's stories, I want to have an update to the High Dive situation. And remember when I said about how High Dive's leaving VRV due to the whole, probably due to the whole acquisition between Sony and Crunchyroll, and how Sony bought Crunchyroll and whatnot. And remember when I said that we may be getting like a 14 to 30 day trial depending on what's going on? Well, it turns out that everybody is getting a 14-day trial. I don't know what happened. Either that 30-day deal expired, or I may have accidentally opened my mouth and ratted everyone out, and everybody stuck with the 14-day deal because of the whole thing. Now, yes, everybody is going to get the 14-day trial. Everyone is getting the 14-day trial over at High Dive. Unless somebody has a sponsorship deal, and that sponsorship deal includes a 30-day trial. But sadly, until then, you're stuck with a 14-day trial. Now, on to today's news, which we're going to be basically talking about certain highlights in the Nintendo Direct that happened recently. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is the surprise releases. And let's get started on one of them, being ActRaiser. Now, this is a classic SNES RPG. It's an action RPG platformer. Alright, it kind of plays similar to Symphony of the Night, but it also has that city builder strategy mechanic gameplay too. So you're like switching between two genres of gameplay. So that's the thing when it comes to ActRaiser. And this is a very big, a very reputable Super Nintendo game. Now, this classic SNES RPG, ActRaiser, is returning as ActRaiser Renaissance. It's going to be released on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, well, already released on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PC via Steam, and iOS and Android. Yeah, because surprise mobile release. Now, you're going to get a $30 price tag when it comes to the console and PC version, but you'll get a $20 price tag when you buy the game on iOS and Android. And like I said, it's a very reputable Super Nintendo game. Like, it got, like, I'll talk about it later. Now, the SNES soundtrack and the new soundtrack is going to be included. You could switch between, and there's going to be additional content, such as, like, additional bosses, additional levels, as stated in that Nintendo Direct. However, the game does have a sequel, ActRaiser 2. No word on whether or not that sequel will be brought back as ActRaiser 2 Renaissance. That could be something. Now, ActRaiser, I managed to go ahead and research the game on eBay. That was when I also found out about ActRaiser 2. Now, here's the thing. Copies are now going to run at like $50 and up. And, yeah, that's kind of like a good thing. But, however, if we're talking about, like, Panzer Dragoon Remake on eBay, I'm pretty sure Panzer Dragoon on Saturn has pretty much increased in price. But I think it probably stayed stable because of the remake being, like, more of a remaster. Kind of similar to situations like Ocarina of Time, in a nutshell. It feels like a remake, but, however, it's a remaster at the end of the day. Oh, never mind. Panzer Dragoon on the Saturn increased in price, so you're kind of good enough getting the remake, since it's spot for spot anyway. Same issue is going to be a thing for House of the Dead remake, since, once again, it's going to be more like a spot-for-spot remake with a bunch of new stuff. So, yeah, it's kind of like, so what I mean by that is basically, just like Panzer Dragoon Remake, the House of the Dead remake is probably going to be more of a remake, but also kind of like a remaster at the same time, so you're going to expect everything that you remember on the Sega Saturn game is going to basically be the same on whatever it is, except you're going to get some new beautiful HD visuals from left to right. That's kind of like the same situation for ActRaiser Renaissance. ActRaiser Renaissance is going to be, oh yeah, there's additional content, but however, it's going to be the SNES Classic from head to toe, with every detail added in except with a bunch of new stuff, and you could end up with a newly designed soundtrack. But hey, I remember hearing about how ActRaiser is a really big deal. A really big deal, and it's kind of great to see games like this get like the remaster treatment. Now, can we do Bloody Roar next? Anyway, speaking of games that needed to be remastered urgently, let's get right on going to the next news story, or shall we say the next Nintendo Direct highlight. There are 3 beloved Game Boy Advance games that released on the Game Boy Advance, no fucking shit, and happen to be in the same franchise. They're most beloved, and it's great that you have the option to play them again. And of course, that's where the good news is coming in, because the Castlevania Advance Collection is, well, it got a surprise release, and it's out now. It released on Nintendo Switch, Xbox, as by Xbox, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PlayStation, as by PlayStation, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC via Steam, and if I didn't say it before, I'll say it just in case, Nintendo Switch. And of course, you have all 3 Castlevania games released on Game Boy Advance. Now, the 3 games being Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow. Now, those 3 games that released on Game Boy Advance, they're included in that Advance collection. But, however, there's a bonus game that's added. You don't have to unlock it. Now, the game is called Dracula X, and of course, it is basically like a Super Nintendo version of essentially Castlevania Rondo of Blood, so here you go. However, the Advanced Collection has save states, multiple region versions for each game, a rewind function, a gallery mode, and a music player. And of course, the game is, of course, out now with a $20 price tag, or shall we speak in MSRP, $19.99. Or what I like to say, $19.99. Now, of course, Castlevania GBA games, no-brainer. Definitely something you're going to want to touch on. Because I remember playing Circle of the Moon when I was a kid. I was playing that. I didn't know about Aria of Sorrow and then Harmony of Dissonance. I didn't know about the other Castlevania Game Boy Advance games until, like, later when I found out about, oh, wait, there's 2 other Castlevania games on GBA? Oh, shit. And I was like, okay, when I went on game collecting, I was like, okay, there's Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Oh, that looks nice. So I ended up I got Castlevania Circle of the Moon back. And then I got that Castlevania double pack, which came with Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow. Oh yeah, but this time, in this motherfucking GBA fun pack, you get Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow. And then you get like the Super Nintendo part that's basically Rondo of Blood called Dracula X. Say what you want about those retro re-releases, but we're definitely gonna need them, especially when we're dealing with content apocalypse, and a lot of the new games we get today are basically blue-balled rush jobs that will probably paywall you up the ass with microtransactions. And yet, someone wants to go ahead and say, oh, why would you play old games? Oh, yeah, well, why would you play today's games where they're like blue-balled rush job experiences that may or may not paywall you up the ass with microtransactions, which is shit that you find in a fucking free-to-play game, okay? Don't start. Now, if we can have something like Bloody Roar get a remastered collection, that'd be fucking great. But I would love to see a DDR remaster where we get everything that the Japanese version had. Yes, I'm talking about Dance Dance Revolution. Dance Dance Revolution! Okay, I still remember that game. Hey, Castlevania Advance Collection. Now, let's get right on going to the next news story, and of course you get the theme. Retro re-releases that basically threw everybody off the ballpark when it came to the Nintendo Direct. Now let's get right on going to what else is happening when it comes to the Nintendo Switch Online. But there's going to be some mixed reactions I seem to notice. But however, there's a new membership tier for Nintendo Switch Online, and it's getting a brand new tier. It's going to be called Online Plus Expansion Pack. And when you get the online plus expansion pack tier, it's going to give you Nintendo 64 games and Sega Genesis games. It'll be releasing late October. No price details revealed yet. And however, Nintendo 64 games such as Zelda Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Sin and Punishment, and etc. Just pretend there's a comma there, or I'll fucking put that comma there myself, so everyone can shut the hell up. Anyway, now, in the Sega Genesis collection that we're going to get with Nintendo Switch Online, we're going to get Strider, Streets of Rage 2, Sonic 2, Gunstar Heroes, Castlevania Bloodlines, and etc. Once again, like I said again, etc. If I didn't say it for Nintendo 64, etc. And Genesis, etc. Oh yes, and there's upcoming Nintendo 64 games ready to be fucking added. Like, alright, like say for example, by the time this whole thing launches, we're gonna get Zelda Ocarina of Time at launch. Guess what's gonna be included in upcoming games to the Nintendo 64 lineup? Majora's Mask. No shit. Anyway, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't surprise me if we're seeing upcoming games for Genesis stuff. But hey, Musha! That is right. Motherfucking Musha. That is a well-known shoot-'em-up game. That is something I don't remember seeing on the Sega Genesis Mini. That is not something I remember seeing in the Genesis Mini. I don't remember seeing that at all. Like, holy shit. Now, there is a wireless Nintendo 64 and Genesis controller for Nintendo Switch available for $49.99 each, or shall we say $49.99, or $50. $50 plus tax. So, if you're up for that, go ahead and do that. That'd be pretty much fantastic. But hey, that's going to be the new tier. There's mixed reactions on it. I heard someone say how the Nintendo 64 and Genesis games should be included onto the current Nintendo Switch Online, and we should still continue to pay $20 a month. But however, it's being sold as a separate tier. Now, if we upgrade to that tier, how much months of Nintendo Switch Online Now, what I'm trying to ask is how much months of Nintendo Switch Online would I wind up sacrificing if I were to upgrade to Switch Online plus expansion pack? I'm actually surprised. There should be a lot of people were rumoring about a Nintendo 64 Mini. Actually, you know what? No, fuck it. Now, here's the thing. Nintendo needs to start doing fucking reruns on the goddamn fucking SNES Mini, NES Mini. Like, here's the thing. Not everybody's gonna be willing or able to probably buy a Nintendo Switch, so we're gonna have to figure something out. But then here's another situation. The scalpers are gonna fucking gobble that shit up. Yeah, that shit be like that sometimes. But hey, it's interesting. Ocarina of Time. Oh yeah, fucking Majora's Mask N64 version. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be much more of a bitch compared to the 3DS remake. Or shall we say 3DS remaster. So, great to know that we got Mario 64 on Switch early when it came to the Mario 3D All-Stars. That's a surprise. Oh, and speaking of Mario, I know some of you people are going to want me to talk about the Mario movie. But, okay, here's something quick. Oh, hey, a Mario movie? Oh, wait, by the studio that's known for Despicable Me and Minions? Oh, boy, what else could go wrong? Anyway, Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Ayo.
420. Weed. I'm gonna chuck this barrel. Because I don't know why, it's because I'm high.
Alright, I'll go ahead and stop myself. Anyway, source links in the description. Alright, here we go. Oh hey, surprise, surprise, another news video holy shit. And hopefully we're going to get more news worthy to talk about now that Tokyo Game Show is going to be happening and kicking off in October. But hey, hopefully things are going well for you guys. As for me, looks like I'm going to go ahead and wrap this shit up. That's all, and I will be looking forward to you in the next video. Peace out. This is nothing but a video product made by a fellow gamer man. Ayo!